Football flunkies, and welcome back to Fantasy Smackdown. It's great to be back here in the studios. Beats, good to see you again.
Man, super excited to be here. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back, man. So what have you been doing during the off season?
Man, had a lot of free time, don't get me wrong.
Off season, shutdown.
Yeah.
The recession.
Yeah, exactly. I've been out with my Uncle Ken, Action News 17, covering a few stories for him, a lot of type work. Little things here and there.
Got you.
Not so much camera time.
I noticed that the scripting of his news broadcasts were substantially better. I didn't realize there was some background work being done there.
So. What about you? Where have you been?
Well, I took a job doing some live streaming broadcasting for Oak Forest Academy. Actually, I do their Friday night games, commentating,
I've heard through the whole thing. I even got to sit down with Kip Roner at some point, who was excited about the kind of shout out he got, and everybody's been really excited.
It's been going good.
You know, they're doing great this year. I've seen what Moberg's been able to do with some of that line, and it seems like, are they going to the playoffs? Is that right?
Their win last week against Park Lane gave them the first round bye in the playoffs. Depending on who wins between Pillow and I think East Rankin Academy this Friday night will determine who they'll play for what is actually the semifinals.
Well, but they were able to secure that bye week too.
Secure the bye week and home field.
Man, you love to see a local team do as good as they've done this year.
Yeah, they're the only one in Tangipahoa Parish doing that good. So
and hopefully we're looking for a state championship repeat.
A repeat. That's what they're hoping for. But you know, let's get back to it. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. The shutdown of the recession of Fantasy Smackdown. You know, Anita Dick from the Commissioner's Office, the investigative journalist, she did a outstanding 35 for 30 write-up on it. You know, she actually applied and then turned down the job here?
Yeah, actually I interviewed her for that. I was able to sit down with her and have a few conversations. I really just don't think we could offer her what she needed and not the stability during the recession.
Yeah.
One thing I can always appreciate, though, especially if you've ever had to interview people, is thank you card goes a really long way with that. She didn't so much send a card, she sent a wall decoration. So
yeah.
I went ahead and hung it up, but I don't know. I guess this was on Big Gal's minds. Hey, it's her deal, not mine.
Yeah, so anyway, thanks for the decoration, Anita. Sorry it didn't work out, but you're doing great work over at the Commissioner's Office.
Yes.
So anyway, dude, let's get back to what we do best.
I'm all for it, but let's just say what happened. I want to talk about the first story. I want to talk about, I understand, but you know, the reality of what happened is that first SmackDown production was epic. We saw a changing of an entire city.
Yeah, we captured the minds of an entire town in one episode. Yeah. I mean, a whole season of that, we would have taken over the country, and two people just shouldn't wield that kind of power.
No, I couldn't agree more.
So we had to shut it down.
There were so many rumors flying as to what it was. I mean,
whether it's the fame or
the fortune,
the bitches.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But really, it had nothing to do with that. We realized we didn't want to have a Thor Loki situation. We weren't trying to run things. We had to take a break, regroup, and come back with that recap.
And just here to have fun.
That's it.
And bring you some damn good entertainment.
You better believe it, folks.
Let's get back into it.
Well, absolutely. You know, the first thing I think everybody's been on everybody's mind is Geno 911 with this meteoric rise. This guy, we know he's a fantasy player, he watches, but he is coming out and just dominating week for week. And his record, I mean, he's at, 7-1 right now going into week 9.
Let's talk about that one.
Let's talk about that one.
That one in that loss column, that came from this guy right here. I was no orgasm at the time. Since then, a return of multiple scoregasm on a 2-game win streak, bitches.
And you took not only his trophy for the streak, you also took the Commissioner deflated his original win, the first one there. It's got to feel good.
It was, actually, I did not beat the Commissioner. It was when Moberg was still undefeated. I started Moberg on his 5-game losing streak. I didn't beat the Commissioner. It was a close game, but ended up he pulled out ahead by like 12
you still took out Sandy, at least from that one loss.
I gave him that one. He'll always remember the one.
Always feels good. Well, let's look at this past week. Let's recap a little bit. Where do you want to start at?
Let's start at Geno 911 at Beats by Ray, formerly Too Legit to Sit. He's sitting now. He's legit again.
You know, that was a really tough loss. We saw Eli Manning come out with 38 points from the quarterback slot. And really
6 touchdowns, 38 points.
You know, but the problem is when you throw every single one of them to ODB,
who is on Sandy's team.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Geno's got Odell Beckham, the franchise player.
Well, and then Edelman putting up 23 Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley blowing up, and I had just a lackadaisical team. I had guys in
the Dez Bryant no show.
Dez Bryant should have been
first game back. He should have been Yeah, he should have been
certainly
out to
bench.
earn his
But
paycheck.
I realized I was at a point where, hey, I need somebody who needs to earn a paycheck. I said, if he has that rise, I've got to try it, especially with him canceling out that quarterback option and with Aaron Rodgers, who didn't show up as much, but always has the potential. You got to take those risks, and it just didn't pay off. And hey, Sandy's 7-1 for a reason.
Yeah, he is. Let's go talk about Mohlberg at WTF. That poor WTF. I mean, he had a combined 12 points out of his running back. He had Green Bay's defense, which has been doing pretty good for him, put up -5. Add those two together, and it was just terrible. I mean, it was a bad day for everybody.
It was, but Mohlberg has seen a little bit of a climb. I don't want to necessarily say he's the guy to watch right now, because I really think that if you look at some of the scoring and what's going to probably take place this week, he's more than likely to be at least contained within that bottom bracket, if not the very bottom. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Congratulations on the win, Mohlberg.
Broke that 5-game losing streak.
Yeah,
I know what that feels like. Trust me. Last year was.
Let's
horrible.
talk scoregasm, leftovers, the ex-king of the coon asses.
Well, let me tell you about the leftovers. He had one player that put up more than 10 points. One. So I could have played, the New Hampshire School of the Blind Paraplegics and still beat him. It was just terrible. He put up 72 points.
His fault in with the injuries he's seen. I can't imagine a situation where he doesn't take last. I'm going to be climbing from here, making some adjustments, and I just see him being bottom of the barrel at best. Leftovers, look to get to Sanchez. Go ahead, have that conversation with your wife. Now, it's going to be a rough year for you.
Yeah, or let her start picking your lineup again.
Yeah, something. You better make the change because it's needed. All right, and lastly, let's look at Dr. D and the commissioner, deflated.
Game of the week. In this game, Dr. D started off, he wrote the commissioner a huge prescription for some penicillin. And, with the Brady-Gronkowski combo on Thursday night, everybody thought that the commissioner was about to get that one filled, coupled with, Levy and Bell putting up 6 points, out for the season now, and the Jets defense?
Yeah, minus 6 on the day.
Who picks those guys?
Correct. Especially to start this week.
Terrible play, but the commissioner put his faith in Andrew Luck, who has done absolutely nothing all season, and had a horrible Monday night game. He put up 14 points, but it was enough to get him that 2-point victory.
It was, but on top of that, with Jonathan Stewart not doing what he needed to do, trusting in Cam Newton, you really that's the problem with Stewart. Great player, great action, great speed, but he's got to trust in Cam Newton connecting, and we saw what happened there. Dropped it, lost the win for Dr. D. It was just a tough situation.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to take a small commercial break, and we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors. Come back, we're going to talk about projections for next week and give you some more Smackdown. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here at the studio.
The second half of our show, wrapping things up. We've got 2 more exciting segments for you this week. Let's talk about what we think we're going to see happen this week. What's going on? Who's playing big? Where do you want to start at today, Scoregasm?
Let's go ahead and start with WTF at Scoregasm.
Okay,
so
what do you want to start at?
I'm going to go ahead and get the projection out the way. I'm going to go me all the way. Name change. I'm on a 2-game win streak. I'm on the up and up. WTF's on that 4 or 5 game, 3-game losing streak, I believe. Maybe 4. He's 3-7, so 4-game losing streak, I believe.
He's 3-5 this week, and I couldn't agree more. I think he's going to move that 3-6 slot, which has the potential to put him in a 3-way tie for last place. Really depends on some points, and there's a lot more to it. But he's not that high right now. I couldn't agree more. I think Scoregasm, I think you've got the win this week. I just think WTF has lost his magic.
He has. I think he's living too much in the glory days of the Hall of Fame New Sarpy Roadrunners.
Yeah.
And
well, retirement can catch up to you, folks.
It can.
Sometimes, and you gotta stay active. That's the secret. If you're watching this WTF, get out, do something. Maybe put the cigarettes down. I don't know. Figure something out.
Maybe switch to Michelob Light. Is there such a monster?
I don't know, but there's probably Winston Lights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Mohlberg, leftovers, a.k.a. What was his idiotic
King of the
name?
Coon Asses. King of nothing.
King of nothing. Nonsense is really what
He's going to be
was.
the king of the Sanchez.
That's what it seems like, folks. So obviously you're projecting to see Mohlberg take the win, or are you seeing...
I'm actually going to say, if I was a bet man, I would go with leftovers this week. For the reason of, I'm pretty sure that Jill finally checked her email and got the, because he doesn't have his own email address.
No.
When Mike sent out the power rankings this week, the power ratings, I'm pretty sure Jill saw it and saw that he was in
I
last.
think we have to make them adjustments, something else.
And she said there is going to be no cat
or
in this
Sanchez.
house or Sanchez. So I'm pretty sure that Jill's taking over the lineup for this week. So she's going to get them straight. She's going to pick the right players. She's probably getting some FaceTime in with them.
I actually had an interesting conversation with them, both the couple who were leftovers, about some of the rules and the specifics of the contract, the initiation of it, without contacting the wives first. And really, what it comes down to, we were able to sit down with our attorney, the commissioner, and go through this. And that is, Garrett is required under Louisiana law to honor that contract.
Absolutely.
Jill's problem now, what he can do is take the kick in the nuts. Let's not forget, folks.
Or the $25
You can take the $25 fine or the kick in the nuts. You don't necessarily have to have it up. But if you start taking kick in the nuts, I can promise you we're coming by every day. Because, hey, who doesn't love kicking in the nuts?
Exactly.
It's fun just to watch.
So we'll definitely see how that
So we
progresses.
see leftovers there at 4 and 5. There we put Moldberg at 3 and 6, which would also put with WTF. Let's talk about Beats by Ray, Dr. D. I feel good. I think that Dr. D has.
You got to look for the home team.
Yeah, you really do have to look up for the home team, of course. But I think Dr. D has been lackluster. I think he's had some good luck on the side. I think he prays a lot, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't see that working out for him this week. Because I'm hungry. I've got to have that. I've got to move up.
Doc, I'm going to go with you on this one. I think you're due a win, and I think if any week you were to beat Dr. D, it's going to be this week. He's got that devastating Brady Gronkowski combo.
Yeah.
Or if anybody from the High Speed League is watching, Tom for Blake there. Him and Tom are on first name basis. They, he gives him back rubs and foot massages and stuff like that. But anyway, he's got that devastating combo between Brady and Gronkowski. But they're playing the Redskins this week, which should be a blowout game. But it's when you start playing teams like that. They're undefeated still. They've got a great season going. That's when the mistakes happen.
That's exactly right, when you're not prepared for it.
I look for you to take the win this week.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I couldn't agree more. Because what that's got the potential to do is put 3 of us in 3 and 6, and to completely flip that whole bottom category where we're at now in that lower tier. It's anybody's game within that. I think the next game, especially when we want to talk about Geno 911 against the commissioner, he's
game
locked.
Of the week.
Geno's locked in that role, and the commissioner is more or less locked. There's a few things that could take place, of course, but I agree more. Game of the week. Tell me what your thoughts are. What you think is going to happen?
I'm going to go ahead and project Geno. He's going to win by at least 20.
No question.
He's going to beat the brakes off of. He's going to inflate Brady's sad balls and deflate him again.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell was a good pickup. We all thought, even though he was going to be out those 2 games initially, but now with an injury in week 1.
And Langford, he's got Langford filling in for him. That guy's hit or miss at best.
At best.
And then you've got Geno, who's got Rodgers on the bench, or Rodgers as a starter, who only put up 6 points last week. And Aaron Rodgers is that I did bad last week, I'm going to do double good this week kind of quarterback.
He's always here to prove something, that's for sure. And you can see that in the Packers offense.
I see Geno 911 winning by at least 20.
I do, putting him to 8-1, still locking the commissioner in 6-3, which is second place, folks. So not a slight by any means. It is the first loser, though. Well, last but not least, before we close the show down tonight, I hate to bring a little controversy at this point, especially coming right off the recession, but doing some of the work with
all about
Action
controversy
News.
here.
I did come across the story, and look, I buried it for you as long as I could. I didn't want it to go out to the real public, but it's got to come out here in fantasy world. Let's talk about that highly.
Whoa! Before you get into it, you did scandal investigations.
We did a little bit of everything. I'm a little involved politically in different things, so yes.
Yeah, you mean justice? Go
Let me
ahead.
a quick second. Let's talk about the Todd Gurley trade. This was, if anything, controversial.
Send some to my attorney real quick.
Good, you need to. This controversial trade was questionable by all, but then in some of my investigations, I
Refresh me on
understand
this trade. I'm not sure which one you speak of.
Todd Gurley, who is putting up crazy numbers. You traded kind of off the cuff, but I understand that same week you received a substantial payment from Geno 911 account, something about running the clock, but it was enough money that I said, we got to talk about this, folks. Tell me what's going on. Is it something we can talk about here, or something we need to sit down with attorneys?
Really, I can't recall anything of this matter. I'm not sure who this Gurley guy is.
Ray Nagin said something similar to that at his trial too. So let's see how that works out for you.
And as for the payment, that was a legitimate job. There was a 1099 and everything on that.
It just seems like it may have been inflated for an hour or so of work. It was an exorbitant amount of money. We've got check stubs to prove it. So it's just one of the things we want to bring to the commissioner's attention. Maybe have a conversation with some attorneys.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, that's good. Did you inhale?
I did not inhale.
Well, that's good enough for me, folks. Score guys, I trust you completely. Let's just drop it, folks. Don't even look into it.
So, call me.
Well, I think that ends production tonight, folks. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We're really excited to be back. Look for us again real soon. Gentlemen, thank you and good night.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. As always, Fantasy Smackdown. See you next week, bitch.